morning.
Hi. How are you?
Good, how about you?
What do you do for a living?
I actually am a YouTuber. Right now I'm on a cross-country road trip. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Okay.
Have a good one.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks. That guy was so Canadian. He said, have a good one, eh? We have crossed international borders. The trip is officially an international trip. We're in Canada, baby. The last time I crossed the Canadian border, I got pulled aside by the Canadian customs, and it ended up being like an hour-and-a-half affair. And I'm not gonna get into it, that's a story for another time, but it's nothing bad, I promise. But anyway, so this time I couldn't help but to feel like I was just doing something wrong, you know, and I had this weird, just like nervousness, and I can't be the only one. Does anyone else out there cross the border and feel like they're doing something wrong when they're not? Kind of silly. I don't know if this is the thing out here in this part of Canada, but I've literally passed two separate horse-drawn carriages, like two people dressed like they were in the Civil War, sitting in carriages that were getting pulled by horses, just on the side of the highway. Twice! Is that a thing out here in Ontario? I think I'm in Ontario. The first time I thought I was still waking up. The second time I was like, all right, well, I guess this is a thing. I guess they still travel by horse-drawn carriage in Canada. Hey there, can I just get a medium original blend, please?
Black?
Yes. When in Canada, eh? Woo, that's hot. So I was curious what the weather is gonna be like in my first destination in New York, because it was just snowing here in Canada, and I thought, well, maybe there's a cold front moving in. And I searched up the destination, and my heart completely dropped because I was seeing mid-teens as the high and low single digits as the low. And I've been keeping up with the weather for this whole trip. I've been searching every day, and what I was seeing for this entire time was highs in the 60s, lows in the 40s. So when I saw mid-teens and low single digits, I thought, oh no, there must be some crazy winter cold front moving in unexpectedly. I was totally ready to completely switch directions, point my compass to Florida and say, you know what, I'm not ready for midwinter temperatures in October. I wasn't gonna do it. And sure enough, I realized that since I'm in Canada, when I was searching up these locations on Google, it was showing me the temperature in Celsius instead of Fahrenheit. Which was a huge relief, but also extremely, extremely funny. That was a close call. I was ready to change direction. It is 2:18 in the afternoon, and I still have not eaten anything today. I'm hungry. What a day. What a day. I have been on the road for 14 hours. 14 hours on the road. I'm pooped, but I've made it to upstate New York. New York, baby. I'm officially on the East Coast. I got here a little while ago, but I went and I got some food when I got here. Naturally, you're in New York, you gotta get pizza, right? I didn't even plan to get pizza, but that happened to be the restaurant that was open in the area. Right now I'm in this quaint little northeast upstate New York town called, I think it's called Potsdam. But anyways, I was driving after I crossed the border in Canada, or from Canada back into the US. I was driving through pitch black farmland. It was sketchy because the roads were so small and narrow and windy, and it was literally in the middle of like the pitch black backwoods farm town upstate New York. And eventually I pulled into this little town, Potsdam, and it looked like a cool town. There was some lights, there was some restaurants, a little downtown strip, and I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna spend the night. So I found a spot to post up. Yeah, this is where we're at for tonight. I just want to say thank you to everybody who sent me get well soon wishes on my last video. I appreciate all of your comments and your concern. Happy to say that I am feeling a lot better. Hopefully this is the last time I'm drinking Theraflu in my videos, because there's been a lot of Theraflu lately. Okay, so the last time that you guys saw me, I was in North Dakota, and I'm currently in upstate New York, so there's been a lot of ground that I've covered in between then. After I left you guys, I went up through Minnesota, up through northern Minnesota, Duluth. Oh my gosh, I know that I like to tell stories and I like to talk, but hear me out. This is a pretty funny story. I got to Minnesota, and by the time I got there, it was going on evening time, and I was headed up north into northern Minnesota, and the roads up there in Minnesota get really dark. I'm driving on this windy road kind of in the middle of nowhere in the North Woods, heavily forested on either side. And I'm driving down the road, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, there's this huge deer or buck. I don't know if it was a deer or a buck, but it was just in the middle of the road, out of nowhere. And I just slammed on my brakes. Last minute. I saw it very last minute. When I saw it, I thought for sure I'm going to be hitting this deer, and I slammed on the brakes, and I just hear rubber squealing and the camper's rocking, and I drifted into the other lane, and I'm teeter-tottering back and forth, and in my head I'm just thinking I'm going to crash. I'm either going to hit the deer, I'm going to, tilt onto my side and flip onto my side. I'm going to hit another car or something. But fortunately, my truck completely just came to a halt. And after I missed the deer, I just kept driving. It was kind of funny. There was cars behind me, and they probably also slammed on their brakes. And I digress. It was a whole ordeal. Welcome to Minnesota, eh? Anyways, after Minnesota, I drove through Wisconsin, and then I drove through Michigan. I was driving the Michigan highway up on the Michigan Peninsula, and it was really pretty up there. The fall colors were in full swing. It was very pleasant. It was a nice drive. And then this morning, I woke up super early, and I drove into Canada. And here we are. So now you're caught up. Sorry, I know that was a long story, but I had to fill you guys in, Such a long day. See you guys tomorrow. Woo! Today I'm going to be driving to the Adirondack Mountains here in New York, which I'm really stoked for. But before we do that, I want to show you guys around this quaint little New York town that I'm in, because from what I saw last night, it looks pretty cool. So let's go check it out. Now that is definitely something I'm glad we don't have to deal with in the West. Our vehicle's resting out. All right, well, there's actually not that much to see because this is pretty much it. It's a small town, like I said, but what there is here is pretty neat in my opinion. These look like they should be some kind of berry bushes, like blackberries or something. But it seems like all that's growing is these little yellow flowers. Y'all see that? It just dawned on me since we're in upstate New York now. I was like, oh, those are probably Amish people. It's interesting. I don't think I've ever actually seen or been through Amish country before, but it's kind of crazy to think that there's still an entire population of people who are living without the internet and without basic modern amenities and technology. It's kind of bizarre, but weirdly appealing in some ways too, you know? Is it messed up if I say that it's honestly a little bit creepy? It's a little bit creepy seeing them. I don't know, I just get weird vibes. As you can see, there is a good amount of orange and red color, but if you look closely, there's a lot of trees that look like this, especially over here. All over there. Lots of dead trees without any more leaves. I'm guessing that within the last week or so, it was probably just fully vibrant in this area, and there must have been some wind or something that came through and knocked all the leaves off the trees, which total bummer because I drove out here hoping to catch peak foliage, and it doesn't look like that's gonna happen. I still have high hopes that we'll catch some really good colors, and I'm sure we will. But this is kind of a tease. This is kind of a tease because I know that I just missed the actual peak. You know what? It's about the journey anyways. It's cliche, but it really is about the journey. I'll tell you what, it might not be peak fall foliage season anymore, but it's still really pretty. last like week or whatever, I've just been cooped up in the car, driving every single day, and that gets you. So it feels good to get out here, get moving a bit, and hike a little trail, even though it's a short one, but it's a steep one. You can really tell the difference between the landscape here and the landscape out west where I'm used to hiking. Over here it's just a lot more woodsy, obviously, and the trees just seem a lot like thinner. I don't know what kind of trees these are. But anywho, it's nice. It's nice to switch it up. It's nice to have a change of pace and to experience an entirely new area. Where is this pond? It's kind of funny. The name of this trail, or the name of this body of water, is something pond. They call this a pond. I don't know about you, but to me, that looks like a lake, not a pond. That would be a mighty big pond, but they call it a pond, so a pond it is, I guess. What's up, little dude? Aren't you a little cutie? Well, folks, I think I'm going to wrap this one here, but not to worry. I will continue filming, and I'll be posting another video a little bit later in the week on Sunday, as per usual. Thank you guys, like always, for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. I've never really said that before. I don't know what possessed me to make me want to say that, but if you did like the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. It doesn't hurt the channel. Anyways, you guys go out there, go on some adventures of your own, live life, beat the status quo. Y'all know the drill. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one, all right? Peace.